We're actually going to start in the second round with the 32nd pick, Joey Porter Jr., the son of your former teammate. And we find out just yesterday that he is going to wear your old jersey number. What does it mean to you that Joey Porter Jr. will wear your number 24 jersey?
I'm just like in awe, you know. You know, when you're getting older, when they call you Uncle Ike, I'm like, golly, like, dude, really getting up there, man. Friday, I'll be 43 years old on Cinco de Mayo. But at the same time, like I said on Dave Damashek's show, he's the closest thing to a Rooney. Like, he was born in the city of Pittsburgh. He grew up in a time when we was winning Super Bowls. He grew up in a time where you came through them Fort Pitt tunnels and it was Gothic City in the playoffs. He grew up in a time when he was in the locker room. He grew up in a time when we was hitting playoffs. He grew up in a time where we was playing old school smash mouth football. And that's all JP Jr. knew at the time. And to actually, you know, go to Penn State, born in the city, but get drafted by an organization that your dad played for at a high level, one of the true leaders when I was in the locker room, just a true leader of men, it's crazy. But for him to, you know, to even acknowledge or say he wants the 2-4 because he watched Uncle Ike, I mean, I really am kind of lost for words. I appreciate that. So hopefully I had some kind of impact or input on him. He liked my style of play. But just to see how the young man, JP Jr., grew up, it makes sense why we would get JP Jr. He was born in it.
Do you ever look back, Ike, and think, like, when you were meeting Joey Porter's son, like, just how crazy that is that he not only gets drafted, he gets drafted into the Steelers organization, that he's now wearing your jersey number? Like, I don't want to put words near my mouth, but like, that's just like, if it were a Hollywood script, you'd have to throw it out, Ike.
So it's like I said, man, I was just leasing the number, you know, unless you're Big Ben or Troy Polamalu,
yeah,
one of the Hall of Fame greats, I was just leasing it. And Coach T said, well, you leased it for a long time. Not too many people say that.
Yeah.
So I really don't reflect back on my career. Really, the only time I do is whether I'm, you know, smoking my one-of-a-kind cigars or whether you and I are talking on this show and we get to talking about it. But other than that, man, it's just like I'm always thinking 2 or 3 years ahead. But to be in a lot of situations I'm in today was because of football and the success I've had and not burning any bridges. You know, I was taught that as a baby. Treat everybody right, treat everybody with respect, and don't burn no bridges because you just never know who you run into. So just very fortunate about that, though, Mark.
Ike, when I hear you say that Joey Porter Jr. is the closest thing to a Rooney, that resonates even further with me, knowing that you were a pallbearer at Dan Rooney's funeral as well. So for anyone watching this or listening to this that doesn't know Ike's history with the Steelers, 12 years with one organization, that's very rare in sports. And again, a pallbearer with the other family members at Dan Rooney's funeral, the owner, when you've got former presidents of the United States, other NFL owners, the commissioner, you know, Lord knows how many Hall of Fame players that were there. So when I hear that, Ike, that bloodline connection, to hear you say that, that resonates even further with me than just to see all of the great social media reaction that there was, because Ike, had the Steelers drafted Joey Porter Jr. at 17 initially, like, I would have been cool with that pick. I don't know about you. And they get him at 32, tremendous value. And it goes back to the savviness of Omar Khan, like we were talking at the top of the show.
Yeah, you can go ahead and hyphenate my name, Rooney Taylor. You know, that's what you can go ahead on and do. But like you say, Omar just did he worked his magic. He did what I mean, his expectations are super high right now, and he's expecting to do that year in and year out, whether it's off season, whether it's through the draft. But, you know, for him, I tweeted, "God don't make mistakes." I saw the video of him and his dad when he didn't get drafted in the first round, and he was upset. And the Joey Porter, the leader of men, came out, and he was talking to his son like, how he used to talk to us before the games, during the games, and after the games. And you run through a wall, you run through a brick wall for a lot of people. And Peasy, he'll put that battery pack on you. He'll make you run through a brick wall whether you want to or not, just on his actions and the way he just handled a lot of situations. So, but to see him interact with his son on that day, and I'm like, man, that's what dads are for them moments. Like moms are very proud of their sons, and usually when you're a boy, usually a mama's boy, because that's what I am. My son's one. I'm sure you're one, too, as well. But when you have that dad in that situation like that, moms can only do so much. That's when the dad role steps in, and that dad role stepped in, and it was just beautiful for the whole world to see it. We see it every day, but for the whole world to see it at that particular time in that situation, man, that was very encouraging.
And we'll talk more about the bloodline connection with some of the other players with the Steelers in the draft, Ike. But I cannot wait to see how Joey Porter Jr. carries on the Steelers' legacy, considering he grew up in it. I cannot wait, starting in 2023 and beyond.
Yeah, it's perfect for JP Jr. He gonna come in. He gonna already know what it is to be a Steeler. Like you ain't got to explain to him. You ain't got to tell him about the tradition. He grew up in it, Mark. So you ain't got to sit down and talk to him about the greats and the expectations. He been in them expectations. He was on the field when the confetti was falling and all that good stuff. He been around the good times and the bad times, more good than bad. So he was on the sideline for particular games. He was in training camp when he was small, working as a ball boy. So, like I say, man, if you want to say the closest thing to a Rooney that we drafted, other than me, not even being from the city of Pittsburgh, you got to say Joey Porter Jr.